guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an update to a popular video that I did yesterday, which is titled, My Girlfriend Was Begging at My Door After I Caught Her Kissing Her Ex. And guys, that video that I did yesterday, very popular, and you guys were really doing a good job of requesting from the guy an update, because in the story he mentioned he had other things to tell about his situation with his ex, and you guys filled up the comment section with update, and sure enough, he saw your comments and he typed it all up and sent it to me this morning, so here you go. But as a quick recap, guys, this is about the guy who was, after 7 years of no relationships because he'd been burned in the past, eventually starting to get a little lonely. He was at an event, met a girl that he liked, they started dating, hit it off, she became his girlfriend. And for 7 months, felt like everything was great, wonderful, all that. But then started noticing some strange behavior. She stopped texting him as much, initiating contact, the whole 9 yards. A long story short, he caught her at an event making out with her ex-boyfriend. And he then went up and whipped that guy's ass because that guy knew they were dating. And that girl's begging to get him back and all that. And the story ended with him moving on from her, and now he's doing well all these years later. He's got a fiance, but not rushing to the altar. He's doing well. And so this is an update to what happened before we rushed ahead in time. He's answering some questions a lot of you guys have, but then also telling the story about his ex from the previous story. And let me tell you, there is definitely a moment that you guys, along with me, are going to want to slap the shit out of him for what he did. But he was learning, so. But anyhow, it's a good one, so I'm going to cover it here. Starts off, he says, hello, SSM. To say I had the biggest grin on my face as I drove home from work tonight would be an understatement. I tend to listen to my favorite channels when I drive home, and when I heard you reading my experience, I couldn't help but smile. I'm sure that was a nice surprise because you sent me that thing not too long ago. I've come to follow up on the history of Ray and Lola and maybe shed some light on a few things before continuing to tell about my past experiences. I was very amused with the majority of the comments, and to the one who said I should have gotten a dog, well, I got a dog a few years later who sheds like a premature balding guy. Hey, at the end of the day, you want a friend or someone to love you unconditionally, get a dog. Or in my case, a couple cats. And I wouldn't go so far as cats will love you unconditionally, but I do know a dog will truly love you unconditionally. He says, before I begin SSM, I decided to dig out my old laptop to find my weight loss pictures from that time. I ended up finding stuff I forgot about, so before I reformat the laptop and either sell it or refurbish it, I'm sharing those pictures with you of me fat when I caught Lola and DA. Me after losing 19 pounds, and a few pictures of me and Lola. Please keep those photos confidential. I just felt seeing it would help enforce the narrative for you. And for the audience, sorry guys, but that's business for you. So yeah, he included pictures of himself because the guy lost a bunch of weight, if you recall. And he showed pictures of what it was like before, after the weight loss, and of course he showed me pictures of what this girl looks like. And number one, he definitely was a big papa prior to the weight loss. He wasn't obese, but he was definitely overweight. So awesome that he lost that weight. And as for his girl Lola, if you guys were all curious what she looked like, she was cute. She was a definite 8. So good job that he got this girl, but unfortunately, you all know what happened. But yeah, she was definitely cute. And she looked like trouble, I might add. He says, as for my weight, I went from 230 pounds to 180 pounds in a month and a half. Dude, 50 pounds in 6 weeks? Did you chop off 1 or 2 of your legs? Jesus, that's way too much too soon. I get that, and I know you weren't obese. If you're morbidly obese, okay, 50 pounds in 6 weeks. And I'm talking if you need to lose hundreds of pounds. But 50 pounds, if your doctor says you need to lose 50, 6 weeks, that's dangerously too much. I could see in the beginning, this is the personal trainer in me coming out, I could see in the beginning losing maybe 12 to 15 pounds in 6 weeks. Maybe if prior to the weight loss, you were eating garbage all the time, no exercise, drinking lots of alcohol, takeout, just garbage. And then like that, you start eating extremely healthy, no takeout, no sugared food, no alcohol, hitting the gym multiple times a week, cardio lifting, then maybe 12 to 15, but 50 pounds in 6 weeks, I'm glad you didn't go to the hospital. So for you guys who want to lose weight, take it easy. 50 pounds would be more doable, I would say, 9 months to a year. You want to do it at a healthy rate. But anyhow, I just had to say my piece there. Anyway, he says here, I did that due to a high protein, low carb diet and being at the gym 5 days a week and then staying on the diet but almost not eating like I was due to anger and working out in some way almost every day. We're talking lots of cardio, weights, and weighted boxing routines. It took some time, but I did eventually chill out and regain some of the weight back. Well, I hope right now you're in a good weight and hitting the gym, taking care of yourself, doing some boxing, whatever you want to do, and maintain, looking good. Okay, you don't need to be walking around with 3% body fat or anything. That's just, no. But if your doctor tells you in a good place, okay, cool. But it should be none of this crash diet shit anymore. I don't want you or anybody else to really screw themselves up, because it could happen. Again, if you're morbidly obese, that's a different ball game. Oh, and by the way, apparently saying obese now is like offensive or mean or some bullshit like that. He says, as for dumbass, that's the guy that's the ex-boyfriend of Lola, who was messing around with her, knowing full well that she had this dude as a boyfriend. And the situation surrounding him being put on his ass, I can speculate about a few things and have some solid knowledge about how I never got into any legal trouble. I knew about DA to an extent due to him being an infrequent participant to the sparring events. I didn't find out more about him until after me and Lola started dating, for both her and the people I knew there. But honestly, that was near the 7-month dating timeline when shit started to stink. In general, people didn't like him, gee wonder why, and on top of that, no one, even Lola, having his back. From what I understand, he was the type who would rather hide an ass whooping rather than publicly admit it. I did consider exposing him to his wife, but he easily could explain the busted nose as a sparring injury, and I just felt it wasn't worth my time. The wife busted him and Lola anyway down the road. Well, of course she did. Yeah, so anyhow, guys, that was a response to some of the things behind the scene. And any questions? Now we're on to the good stuff. And get your hands ready, because you're going to be smacking him in a second. He says, now on to what everyone else is really wanting. Lola's reappearance and her dirty, underhanded tactics. Sorry for anyone starting that poll on what it is. It was not a pregnancy ruse. Lola used the family card. She showed up at my place with her mom, little brother, and little sister, knowing that when with them, that I would not cause a scene or simply just slam the door on them. Some pretense. As I said, her family treated me really well before the betrayal, and I treated them like they were my own. And after the betrayal, it almost felt like a funeral because I had to give that up. I understand that, man. I've had a girlfriend, high school, college, that I got close with her family, and they became like my family. And yeah, when we had breakups, it was tough because I was close to them. But you can't let them rope you in, especially when they don't know what's going on, and have her treat you the way she did. Because remember, you caught her making out with her ex-boyfriend. Once a cheater, always a cheater, and you're going to see this in a second. He says, Lola used this to her advantage and pity and guilt trip me into trying again. Smack. You caught her red-handed, making out with her ex. You whipped his ass, and he deserved it. And you're going to take her back because she showed up at the door with her mom and her little brother and sister? Come on, bro. I know you know this now, but seriously. Well, guess what happens, guys? And by the way, he says, yes, smack. I mean, come on, I had to get one eventually. A part of me knew it was bullcrap, so I was always wary of her actions. It would be another 5 months before she proved me right. Shocker. So now you're getting back with her, and you're always going to be on your guard, wondering what's she going to do next? Who's she talking to on her phone? You see what I'm talking about? That is not a way to have a relationship with anyone. Always wondering if they're cheating, looking over your shoulder, sleeping one eye open. It's no way to go. She talked me into going on a 5-hour trip with her mom, and her siblings to meet the rest of the family. See the pattern yet? It was during that drive back that I realized she was really quiet. So I glanced over to see her on the phone. SSM, the profile image was all I needed to see. Guess who she was Book of Faces messaging? Who was she messaging on the phone while you're sitting there right next to her with your whole family in the car? Gee, I don't know. Donald Trump? Hillary Clinton? Jesse Jackson? No. Her ex-boyfriend. He says, that's right, it was DA. I knew better. It wasn't angry this time, it was just sheer exhaustion. When we got back and unloaded everything, I told her family I enjoyed the trip, but as Lola tried to follow, I called her back to me. I asked point blank who she spent almost the whole ride texting. She tried to say it was her cousin, but I called her out on it and let her know I saw who it was. What I tell you, once a cheater, always a cheater. You take her back, she's going to lose even more respect for you and realize, hey, he took me back to the first time, so I can pull crap in the future, put on the waterworks, use the family to guilt him, and he'll stay with me again. That's what she was thinking. You notice a pattern in these stories, guys, in the behavior. This is why I do these stories over and over and over again, because you pick up on patterns. And that way you guys, if you do dating and relationships, any of these things start to happen, you'll be prepared because you know darn well what's probably going to happen. She finally admitted it to me and saying how she was so sorry, but he was her high school sweetheart, how he was leaving his wife for her, and how some people are just meant to be together. Yeah, I can just tell she was so sorry, like she said. It's bullshit. And she's using that to justify her actions, being a total asshole. You know, that it was meant to be or some crap like that. So, never mind your feelings that you were good to her. And never mind that her family really liked you. Because I bet her family, in their mind, you were probably one of the best boyfriends she ever had. But you know how it works. Like, if the family really likes you, then she's not going to like you. She wants the guy that the family doesn't like. Her ex. And I don't know if you can hear it, guys, but it is Siren Central here. Everything's been quiet until I turn on the record button. And now it's ambulances and police cars. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Lola began to cry. Shocker. And begged me not to say anything. But before I left, I let her mom and younger siblings know what she'd been up to. Good for you, bro. That way they can't pull any bullshit with you. And I thank them for treating me well, and it would be best if we just never see each other again. The look of disappointment on Lola's mom and siblings gave her could sink a ship. Again, I blocked her on everything, but I also blocked any of her family members as I had any contact with. Lola did try one more time to reach me by using a different phone after a month or so. But the moment I recognized the voice, I played ignorant. This self-absorbed woman actually had the balls to say, "Oh, you can never forget me." All I could say was, "What the hell is wrong with you?" and blocked that number too. Bro, I'm not at all surprised that she tried to reach out to you again after all that, right? I mean, but in her mind, she saw you as the nice guy. You took her back after you caught her red-handed cheating. So in her mind, okay, I'll give it some time. I'll go back to him and he'll forgive me again. That's what she was thinking because you let her get away with it the first time. That's how it works. This is why you catch a girl cheating, it's done, it's over with. And if they perceive you as that nice guy, if you have a reputation being a pushover, they will try shit like this. After that, I thankfully never had to deal with her again. The beauty of moving. On a side note, as far as my fiance before we started dating, we did sit down and discuss expectations, boundaries, and she agrees that a prenup is a good thing. Although my parents can't seem to wrap their head around it and disagree with that idea, but I just chalk it up to them being old-fashioned. Also, as I said, it ironically was almost 7 years again before I met my fiance. Again, sorry for any grammatical errors. Thank you for reading my story and continue to do the good work. Maybe I'll reach out to you and tell you about the crap that initially kept me single for 7 years. Well, bro, if you have more stories to share that are interesting and entertaining, by all means email. And guys, if you'd like to hear more stories from this dude, just like yesterday, comment away. The more you comment saying you want to hear future stories from this dude, he'll do it. That's usually how it works. So, bro, that's quite a good story. I can't believe you took her back after her showing up at the door with her freaking mom and siblings, but you know, you were young, you didn't know any better, and I'm glad you didn't fall for it again. So I do wish you the best with your fiance. Take your time. And definitely do a prenup. And I get that your parents are old-fashioned, but this is your life, not theirs. So you got to take care of yourself. And if you're going to get married, you know my opinion on the subject nowadays, take your time. Listen to the advice I've given in all the other videos about that if that's the path you choose to go on. And I hope it goes well for you. But again, no rush and just be careful. So, and again, by the way, keep yourself in shape and don't do any of these drastic 50 pounds in 6 week type of things. I don't want you to go to the freaking hospital. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let us think about this. Again, let this guy know if you want to hear future stories from him. And also, guys, if you got any good stories you'd like to share to me, by all means, email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it. I will down the road, especially if it works for the channel. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.